going to be on page 28 of the back section of your red pew Bible, and be reading from the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 25, verses 14 through 30. For it is as if a man, going on a journey, summoned his slaves and entrusted his property to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. The one who had received the 5 talents went off at once and traded with them and made 5 more talents. In the same way, the one who had the 2 talents made 2 more. But the one who had received the 1 talent went off and dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those slaves came and settled accounts with them. Then the one who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 more talents, saying, Master, you handed over to me 5 talents. See, I have made 5 more talents. His master said to him, Well done, good and trustworthy slave. You have been trustworthy in a few things. I'll put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. And the one with the 2 talents also came forward, saying, Master, you handed over to me 2 talents. See, I have made 2 more talents. His master said to him, Well done, good and trustworthy slave. You have been trustworthy in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. Then the one who had received the 1 talent also came forward, saying, Master, I knew that you were a harsh man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you did not scatter seed. So I was afraid, and I went and I hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what is yours. But his master replied, You wicked and lazy slave. You knew, did you, that I reap where I did not sow and gather where I did not scatter? Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and on my return I would have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to the one with 10 talents. For to all who have, more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who have nothing, even what they have will be taken away. As for this worthless slave, throw him out into the utter darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Let us pray. Gracious God, give us ears to hear, eyes to see, and hearts that are open to receive and respond to your word, your message to us this day. Amen. Upon reading that, I instantly regretted the choosing of that parable. Now, as we have explained, these parables were very contextual. Even the language then wouldn't be used today. Jesus is speaking to an audience who certainly was accustomed to masters and slaves, and that's why we have that language here. It's as close to an actual translation of the text as we had. And the people of Jesus' audience would have understood the meaning of this. They would have known that sometimes wealthy landowners or merchants would go away for a while and entrust their servants with their property. Other parables talked about that, or even with their money. And, sort of like investment banking now, it's like, what are you going to do with my money while I'm away? We understand certain aspects of the finances now, but the whole story would have really made sense to Jesus' original audience. So what you have is a man, a wealthy man, that is about to depart on a journey. No one knows how long, but for a long time. And a generous sum of money is given to each of his workers, almost like a trust fund in a way. But each is given according to their own ability, according to what the wealthy merchant thought of. Now, here's what's interesting. A talent in the ancient world was actually a monetary weight. So that's what a talent was. It was a measure, it was a weight that was used for trading and for money. 1 talent weighed between 60 and 90 pounds. It's a heavy, right? Picture that. 1 talent. It was a weight, and that was worth a lot of money because back then, things that were heavier and bigger were worth a lot of money. So 1 talent was the equivalent to 6,000 days of work, roughly 20 years of work. So that's what we're talking about here. It's a substantial initial investment that these workers are given. Now, we're going to illustrate this because I said this is the last Sunday that we have our children with us for the whole service, and they've done such an amazing job this whole summer. So I need 3 volunteers to come up, and okay, come on up. I see 1, 2, and just need 1 more. I only need 3 for this, so come on up. All right, and 3. We'll have two ladies and 1. All right. We got 4. All right, we'll see what we can do with the 4. Okay. There's always a way. All right. Now, I'm mic'd up here. So, let's suppose I am the very wealthy person. I don't have a big, heavy weight, but I have something that's worth more than gold. You know what these are? They are chocolate coins. Excellent. All right, so, for my one friend, Lily, all right, I'm going to give you 5. And you're going to go, just head back that way and act like you're working. You're trading, you're doing some work with those 5, okay? And we'll call you back in a little bit. All right, let's see. I'm going to give you 3. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to go somewhere, and it could take a few minutes, a few hours, a few weeks. I'm going to be gone for a while, but you're going to go and you're going to work. You're going to trade with people, but you're going to do a good job. All right. I'm going to give you 2, and you're going to do the same thing. Okay? You're going to go and you're going to work. You're going to go and whatever you want to do, but you're going to say, I've got 2, and I'm going to work really hard. All right? Okay. I'm going to give you 1. This is not a reflection of how I actually think about these children, by the way. But see, you don't really trust me, and you're kind of afraid. So you're going to dig a hole, and you're going to bury this one. Don't actually dig the carpet, because we'll get in trouble. Yeah, but you can kind of go over there and pretend that you're digging the hole, and you're going to bury it, okay? All right. Okay, after a period of time, I come back, and I summon all of my workers to come forward. Come forward, everybody. Now, most people work pretty hard, right? And you worked really hard. And how many did you start with? And look how many you ended up with. Wow. Of course, they're all mine, so I get them all back, which is really nice. I'll let you keep them. So you ended up with 10. That's amazing. And I say, good job. Thank you so much for all that work, because now we have not just 5 chocolate golden coins, we have 10. Okay, let's see. Who started with 3? You worked really hard. And how many do you have now? 6. It's amazing. Someone started with 2. You worked really hard, and you ended up with 4. That's amazing. What did you do, young man? You did. Can you go bring it? All right. So this one young man was a little afraid, as we know. And you said, well, I buried it in the ground. Here you go. You can have it back. I'm not so happy with this, see? Because I wanted more chocolate coins. Who doesn't want more chocolate coins? And so I say, you should have done something more with this instead of burying it. I'm going to take it, I'm going to give it to you. Now you have 11. And there's weeping and gnashing of teeth, because anytime we lose chocolate or we don't have as much chocolate as we want, there's weeping and gnashing of teeth, right? So can I see weeping and gnashing of teeth? That's exactly right. That's exactly what happened. So round of applause for all of our helpers. See me afterwards. I'll make sure that you, okay? And these are yours to keep. Thank you very much. Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. Well, I appreciate all the children. Yeah, oh, look at that. That was very kind of you, Lily. From the kindness of her own heart. We love our children, and we love that you guys are in worship with us this Sunday. And very excited for children's worship to come back with Miss Taryn next week. But having you here these last few Sundays have been really, really special. So I want to thank you again for that. So they helped us really illustrate, in sort of our own way, what that parable was like, and the reaction of the workers, and the reaction of the wealthy owner, the merchant as well. Now, by the way, when that one person, when Mason hid that, you would think, well, wow, who would do that? I mean, who would dig a hole and hide talents? But back then, there was this old rabbinic saying that said this: money can only be kept safe by placing it in the earth. So this person, in their mind, thought, I'm going to be safe, and my tradition and custom tells me the safest place for money is you bury it in the earth, right? So that's what he did. So it kind of made sense back then. So we had the first person who takes the money and takes some risks, went out and traded it. Sort of a day trader going on E-Trade or something. You got to take some risks, but it works. This person is making the investment, doubles the money. The second one does the same thing. It's given less money to work with, but still goes out and works it, and in the same proportion, doubles the money, makes a very good investment. And then the last person, in the story that is, doesn't do that, doesn't follow the same narrative. Maybe this person was, as we indicated, a little afraid or unsure, but they operated in a way that, my savings accounts works. Like, look, we're not going to earn you any money, but we won't lose it, hopefully, either, right? So that's kind of how this person operated, which might be okay for a savings account, but it's not a great strategy for investment brokerage. And it might be okay if it's your money. You can do with it what you want. But if someone else gives you money to invest, that's not a really good strategy, right? You're not going to be in that business long, investment, if that's your strategy. Like, I'm just going to keep it here so it's safe, but you're not going to earn anything. Now, maybe there's some years that's probably burying it in the ground is smart. But in general, right, that's not how it works. And so we don't know what the third person was thinking. We do know that there was some fear that played, some fear of his boss. Maybe this person thought also that he wasn't really given enough money to work with. Maybe saw, well, it's five talents, that's a lot of money. 2 talents, that's a lot of money. These chocolate coins, I'm only given 1. In comparison to other people, I don't have much. What can I really do with just 1 talent? Now, here's what's really interesting, of course. As I said, the word talent back then was about money. And so that illustration works really well. In the 15th century, the Old English translation of the Latin word became known for much more than a monetary weight. Talents, aptitudes, gifts, skills, abilities. What we know talents to be now came around in about the 15th century. And so now we look at this parable and we look at it through a different lens. We all know people who have been given great talents, right? Great talents. They have made a profound impact, and we've experienced so much joy based on their talents. We just heard amazing talent, Ruth, with her voice. I wish I had a voice like that, more in the masculine probably, but that I could sing. I try to in the shower sometime, and I'm glad that no one hears that, because that's not my particular talent. And we look at other people with talents, and sometimes we think, well, they have all the talents. What do I have? God's given them so many talents. What can I do with my one? Maybe I'll just go and bury it. What's the point of trying to do anything with it? But see, the point that Jesus is making, when these parables he's telling them to describe what the kingdom of heaven is like, is that God is very generous, and God has gifted all of us with talents. Everyone has been gifted with talents. Talents to use, talents to invest. And when we don't use our talents, when we don't use those gifts, those skills, those abilities, those passions, then not only are we missing out, but the world is missing out as well. We're hiding these God-given gifts because maybe we're afraid to use them. Maybe we think we don't have as much as somebody else. But we have all been given graciously from God. And every investment of our time, of our energy, of our money, every act of kindness is in fact a talent. And these can be invested in ways whose dividends know no limits and whose yields are off the charts. Every act, everything we do with what's been given to us does make a huge impact in the lives of other people and brings great joy to God. There's this fable, Aesop's fable, perhaps you've heard of this, called the miser. A miser sold all of his property and bought a mass of gold, which he buried in a secret place to which he made frequent visits of inspection. Someone who had noticed his coming and his going found the treasure and carried it off. And when the miser returned and discovered his loss, he wailed and tore his hair in a frenzy of grief. Someone who saw him agonizing after learning the cause said to him, "Don't grieve, my friend. Just take a stone and bury it in the same place and think of it as gold in the vault. Even when the gold was there, you made no use of it." Some wisdom from this story. We have been given so much. Make use of what we have. Make use of your time. Make use of your talents. Make use of the resources that God has given to you. We have been given much, and we have been forgiven much. God's grace and God's mercy, God's love and goodness is extravagant and abundant. And we are called to give in the same way to others. And so think about the gifts, the specific gifts of time, talent, and resources that God has given to you. These treasures, see, they're not for us to possess or to protect for our own safety and security. God lends them to us, graciously gives them to us, that we may use them to be a blessing to other people. So, the question for this morning is, what are you doing with what's been given to you? What are you doing with what's been given to you? For children of all ages, you are talented. You have gifts. All of us do. What are we doing with what has been given to us? And I believe, no matter what age you're at, we all have potential talents wherever we look, except for in the ground. So let us use productively what has been generously given to us, because it will bring joy to God and life to you and to others. And that is what the kingdom of heaven is really like. Amen.